Awesome. So we're going over how to true a wheel here. We have a front wheel, revolve front wheel. A lot of the spokes they're not super loose, but they're definitely not too tight. They're on the looser side. So we're going to start off taking one pass all the way around the wheel. We'll start at the valve stem so we know where to start and finish. We're going to go about quarter turn, half turn, tighten on each spoke nipple. Those spokes that are a little looser will turn a little more. The ones that are a little tighter will turn a little less. This one's really loose, so I'm gonna just go a couple turns here. You kind of go by feel. Once you true a bunch of wheels, you'll start to get the feel for how tight the spoke nipple should be, and you'll feel when they're really loose. So I'm just gonna go all the way around. Tighten each one up. You don't want to do, generally speaking, with wheel truing, you don't want to make too large of adjustments at first. You're way better off making small adjustments because you just don't want to do too much. So we're going all the way around here. We're about halfway. And again, to tighten them, we turn it clockwise. To loosen, counterclockwise. The whole righty-tighty, lefty-loosey deal applies to your spoke nipples. So, and how it works, the spokes come from each side of the hub. So they come from the drive side and the non-drive side, or the rotor side and the side without the rotor. So depending on which side the spokes are on, when you tighten it, it'll pull the rim a certain way. So this on the spokes on the rotor side of the wheel, when you tighten those, it pulls the rim towards the rotor. The ones that are on the side without the rotor, you tighten those, it pulls it opposite of the rotor. So when we true it, we want to have even tension on all the spokes, and we also we want to balance it from side to side so it doesn't have any big wobbles. And this wheel, actually, just by tightening up a lot of the spokes that were extra loose and putting a little bit more tension on the spokes that were not quite as loose, that actually made a significant improvement here in the side to side of our wheel. So we can true it up a little bit more. We're gonna close down our calipers on our wheel truing stand. Okay. Okay, so it's probably hard to see on the camera, but it's rubbing right in here, right kind of by the valve stem. So when it's rubbing on the left side of the rim. So this particular spoke right next to the valve stem here is on the right side, opposite side of where it's rubbing. So I'm gonna squeeze these spokes together, and what that does, that puts more tension on these spokes, and you can see already that you may be able to see it or hear it, I'm not sure in the video, but just by squeezing and putting extra tension on here makes it so that it's no longer rubbing in my truing stand calipers. So I'm gonna tighten up this spoke, quarter turn, half turn, and we'll see what that does. That looks excellent right there. It's no longer rubbing there. So now we'll find the next spot and we'll do the same. Now sometimes the rims have these stickers on them. This one has this revolve sticker and they start to rub on the stickers. But the wheel is pulling slightly that way, right around here. So I'm going to snug up this spoke and this other one. Cool. So I'm actually pretty dang happy with that. That wheel didn't take very much. So now what we're going to do, we're going to go around the wheel. We're going to squeeze the spokes. Number one, to kind of make sure that all of them feel nice and tight and we didn't miss any. There's not any loose spokes in the wheel. And number two, to kind of relieve a lot of this tension that we put on the spokes when we went around it and tightened each one up. It's normal for when you first get on your bike and start riding for them to go pop, 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 pop. So this will kind of get rid of that tension, and then we can just double check that it spins nice and true, which it does. That looks great. So that's kind of a basic overview of how to true a wheel. Let me know whatever questions you guys have in the comments.